In this week's episode of Earthquakes Around Australia, we're going to be looking at the Northern Territory. Currently, the Seismology Research Centre doesn't do any monitoring in the Northern Territory, but you can go to Earthquakes@GA to look at the history of earthquakes in the Northern Territory. Geoscience Australia have over 2,000 earthquakes in their catalogue for the Territory, and out of the top 6 earthquakes recorded onshore within Australia, 4 of them were in the Northern Territory, 3 of which occurred on the same day at the same place in 1988 at Tennant Creek. This image behind me shows 1 day of aftershocks recorded on an old smoke paper drum recorder deployed by the SRC back in 1988. That earthquake was very remote, but it did cause some damage to a gas pipeline which needed to be dug up and repaired. But the Tennant Creek earthquakes weren't the most recent magnitude 6 events in the Northern Territory. In 2016, a magnitude 6.1 earthquake occurred in the Petermann Ranges. Fortunately, a team from the University of Melbourne was in the area. In fact, one of the students on that trip, Tamara King, wrote her PhD on geological expression of faults using data gathered from the Petermann earthquake investigation. But earthquakes within the Territory are not what usually shakes the residents. Being so close to the northern boundary of the Australian plate, residents of Darwin often feel shaking from magnitude 6 and 7 earthquakes, hundreds of kilometres to the north in the Banda Sea. Tune in again next week to see what's shaking in the next state in our plate.